Good evening, everybody. On this Thursday evening, welcome to a broadcast, lsfl4u. Good to have everyone here. And tonight, you know what? I'm so sick of hearing the negative news, everything that's going on. So let's pray for those people who have been hit by these tornadoes and get them places, get them fixed up and get them. A lot of people are still basically homeless. So let's pray for them and those who didn't make it. That's unfortunate. Um, it's sad. Yeah, it's devastating. We have some damage here, but some roof damage. God's been good. You know, um, so let's take care of one another and get these people back in their homes and get their lives back. So anyway, don't watch the news. Don't watch the media news. It's all negative. So I do positive news stories. So I wonder what would happen if everyone just a blackout day for news, just to turn off and don't watch the news for one day. What would happen? How would you do? How would you live? How would you feel? Just don't watch the news for one day. Would you be able to do it? I do it. I don't watch it any day. I do not watch the news. I look it up myself. That's where I find these positive news stories instead of all the negative. So, what if everyone would pick a day, a national day in the country, at a no news day? Do not watch the news. Don't watch it. You can listen to it on the radio if you want, but I'm talking in front on the TV, the news. Don't watch. Would you be able to do it? So anyway, this evening I am doing some positive news stories, which I haven't done in a long time. I need to get back to doing that. So without further ado, here's some news. Just positive. Let's see. We've got some good ones. All right. Woo! Here we go.
You're jamming with the hottest disc jockey.
All right. Here's some positive news for you. This is, oh my gosh, June 22nd. The kids are out of school either this week or next week, and it will be summer school and summer break for the kids. So hopefully you have things lined up to do, places to go, swimming, whatever, vacations, whatever you have planned for the summer. Be safe. So probably I will do uh, I have to look back and see if I've done my summer topic, everything about summer, places to go, theme parks to cruises to all kinds of stuff that I looked up and see if there's anything new, different uh, resorts, stuff like that. See if anything's new because I know I haven't looked it up this past year. So anyway, sports. Hope your hockey team's doing well. So it's coming down to what the Florida Panthers, Edmonton Oilers, Dallas, and the Hurricanes. So good luck to them. Final four. So I got to watch the. I know the other night they had the game one of Dallas and Edmonton, so I wanted to recorded it, watch that. I know the NBA. I don't keep up with the NBA anymore. When Michael Jordan left, retired, whatever, I pretty much stopped watching basketball. So I know it's the NBA playoffs, and it's I think Timberwolves and oh my gosh, sorry, but I that's some of the Milwaukee. It's an animal. Why am I drawing a blank? I hate when that happens. And I know the UFL, hey, our St. Louis Battlehawks, 6-2. Yes. So I still haven't gone down to a game, and I want to really bad. I want to check out a football game. Biggest crowd in the league that drawn here. Who needs the NFL? You know. But anyway, and I know that the draft happened, so I hope your team had some good picks. Um, I don't know if that's still going on or not, but I know it was not too long ago. It's just been recent, the NFL draft. So hopefully your team picked up some good players and got some, to fill some of the voids some of the teams needed on the, offense or defense, whatever. So anyway, I know, let's see, soccer. I think soccer's over. I don't know. So I don't keep up with a lot of, and I don't even know what the baseball because I'm still watching hockey. I'm still watching the Stanley Cup playoffs, so I have no idea what's going on in baseball. So once hockey's over, the Stanley Cup is over, I'll pay attention. I'll kind of draw my attention and kind of keep track of baseball, where everybody's at. And here in St. Louis, I don't think our Cardinals are doing that great, but it is what it is, of course. And you know, we need another World Series though. It's been too long. Definitely. We're due. So and Dodgers looking good again. Um Detroit, I think, is in first place. I don't know anyone else. I don't know. I think Milwaukee might be in first in our division. But that's about all I just some of the teams that I've heard. I don't know. So yeah. So other than that, I have got some news stories. So I think you'll like and some good ones. So let's get started. So he asked God for help. 5 minutes later, she showed up. Woman's kindness transforms homeless man's life. What started as a small act of kindness has blossomed to a life changing journey for a man named Danielle. Thanks to the compassion of Hilary Holmes, a Melbourne based makeup artist with a heart of gold. While spending the holiday with her family, Hilary noticed a man quietly sitting at a tram stop near her home. He was alone, looking lost, and hiding garbage bags of belongings in nearby bushes. Daniel, homeless for 18 years, recently back in Melbourne after a stint in Tasmania where he had some support. But since returning, Daniel had been robbed of everything and left with nothing. Man, that's yeah. Oh, yeah. Anyway, man. So, moved by his situation, Hillary brought him a bag of snacks and drinks and took the time to listen. That's sometimes all we need to do is just listen to one another. Just listen. You don't need to talk. Just listen to somebody. And it changes somebody. And pray for them. So she learned that Daniel suffers from diabetes, 2 hernias, and 3 tumors. But because he has no fixed address, accessing medical care has been nearly impossible. So Hillary decided to do more than just offer a meal. She launched a GoFundMe to help Daniel find temporary housing get essential supplies, and take the first steps towards stability. Within days, the response was overwhelming. The campaign raised over 31,000, with donations pouring in from people moved by his story. That is what it's about. Yeah, I do believe we're angels, and God sends us people into our lives for a reason. It's not a coincidence. And we talk about that in group quite often, and church. And with God, there's no coincidence with God. Um, God puts us where we need to be, or where someone else needs to be, where I need to be. Yeah, God puts us there in time. So, boy, we talked about fruits of the spirit. What was it? Patience. Oh boy, you know. But anyway, a missing child with autism is rescued from busy freeway. An 11-year-old nonverbal boy with autism is safe and back with his family thanks to the swift actions of deputies, a dispatcher, and alert community members after he went missing. The dramatic rescue took place back on the 9th of March when the child ran out of a supermarket about 4:30. So, according to the San Diego County Sheriff's Office, his family quickly called 911 after being unable to find him. With autism, they're runners. They will elope. Um, so I think people sometimes just assume they're with them, that their child is with them. But with autism, they can just get distracted and go at any time if they see something or whatever. It's really difficult sometimes to take them out because of that chance of they're going to elope, and they're runners. That's all it takes is, and they're gone, and you turn around, where are they? Believe me, it's tough. you know So deputies immediately began searching the area with assistance from a sheriff's helicopter, broadcasting alerts to the public. Off-duty sheriff's dispatcher Shiloh Corbett was driving home from work around 5:15 when he spotted a child matching the description of the missing boy near the State Route 52 on-ramp at Mass Boulevard. Corbett quickly contacted the sheriff's communications center, pulled over, and followed the child to the shoulder of SR 52, where he had already crossed the westbound lanes and was standing in the center divider. She called out his name to urge him to stay put while notifying dispatch supervisors so they can send deputies to the location. When deputies arrived, they spotted the boy atop a steep concrete embankment near the freeway overpass. As they attempted to make contact, he moved toward the guardrail and jumped over it, beginning to run along the active freeway. Deputies Cody Green and Michael Moser reacted instantly, leaping over the guardrail and running after the child. They were able to safely reach him and remove him from the dangerous roadway, ultimately reuniting him with his family. Miraculously, no one was injured during the incident. Of course not, because God was with them. And thank you to those deputies, man, because, I think that should be, I don't know if law enforcement teaches um, about disabilities when you're in the academy or not. I'd have to talk to, maybe that can be a topic in a phone call to a sheriff's office and just ask if they wouldn't mind being on the broadcast and talking about that, you know, and stuff. Um, if they would be willing to, share that part of their training, or if they even are trained with like autism and Down syndrome and stuff like that. So the officers know how to handle someone with autism who elopes, who's a runner, and what might get their attention back, or ADHD on top of autism. There's a lot of quite a umbrella under that too. So yeah, So here's a remarkable cancer cure in plain sight. Imagine that. Dimethyl sulfoxide is a potent compound known for treating a wide range of incurable musculoskeletal, neurological, infectious, and autoimmune conditions due to its unique properties. DMSO properties also transform cancer care as it causes cells to stop being cancerous, significantly increases the potency of many cancer treatments, and it's safe. It improves the safety and protects normal tissue from the toxicity, toxicity. Many natural treatments are also dramatically more effective once mixed with DMSO. Hematoxylin, a common pathology dye, when mixed with DMSO, is an incredible potent cancer therapy, which has no toxicity to normal tissue. Despite promising results and minimal side effects, D-hematoxylin face significant regulatory barriers with the FDA and medical establishment, effectively marginalizing this potentially breakthrough cancer treatment. So, DMSO is naturally occurring substance that has a variety of unique properties that have immense therapeutic potential. So, in turn, thousands of studies show DMSO safely treats a wide range of injuries such as sprains, concussions, burns, surgical incisions, spinal cord trauma, strokes, paralysis, and other neurological disorders. So, chronic pain also, a bad disc, this computer, a bad disc, um, oh man, oops, a bad disc, um, where was I? Okay. And many autoimmune, like protein and contractile disorders, scleroderma, amyloidosis, and interstitial, sorry for my pronunciations, cystitis. Head conditions including tinnitus, vision loss, dental problems, and sinusitis. Ooh. And internal organ diseases such as pancreatitis, infertility, liver cirrhosis, and endometriosis, and skin conditions, burns, varicose veins, acne, hair loss. Ooh, hair loss. That's what I need. DMSO for hair loss. I have to check that. Ask my doctor about it. Hmm. Also, ulcers, skin cancer, stuff like that, and dermatologic diseases, shingles, herpes, chronic ear or dental infections, osteomyelitis. So once the FDA realizes the extent to which DMSO would transform medicine, the agency made the decision to erase it completely. Why? If this is proven to help all these things, that tells me they don't want you well. The system, the agenda, whatever you want to call it, doesn't want people to be well. Pharmaceutical companies would go under. Um, Imagine, that they actually find something, then all of a sudden the FDA won't know it treats people for this and that. So, but we're not going to have it. But why? And it's something maybe I could maybe look up more if you have time or research that because I didn't. I just got the articles. So if this helps all these different ailments and diseases, why isn't it out? Why isn't it out? So there are millions of patients that it helped, and the thousands of studies that they've done has pretty much been swept under the carpet. Why? Hmm. So, DMSO is effective for a wide range of conditions. It's caught on like wildfire over the last 6 months. So, it received over 2,000 reports of positive responses to incurable conditions. So, what they're doing is apparently, if I get this, they're downplaying the potential to avoid backlash against unproven treatments. But I thought it just said they've been doing treatments and testing on people, and it's working and it's helped. So its cancer fighting properties remain largely unknown. Okay, so there's hundreds of studies that it effectively treats cancer pain, dramatically reduces many of the complications experienced from radiation therapy and chemotherapy, stop cancers from growing and transforms cancerous cells back into normal cells. I don't, you know. So DMSO is combined with non-toxic natural cancer therapies. Since there are almost an endless number of combinations, most have not been tested though. And many incredible ones are likely waiting to be discovered. So why are they pulling the plug on this? Is what maybe to look up and find why. You know, why is that? I don't get it. You know, all these years, find a cure for cancer, find a cure for cancer. They may have something and then they don't want it, or they're going to stop treatments, or they're going to stop finding out if it does. Because if you don't, I mean, what that's a chance you got to take, like anything, right? And there's also things all the time where we'll, you know, be a guinea pig, so to speak, for this medicine. We'll pay you so much money for this treatment or whatever because they don't know. They don't know how it affects somebody. So if you're suffering from something, an incurable disease, or you're suffering from some kind of cancer or liver, whatever is going on, well, we have something, but it needs to be tried out. And if you're willing, you know, you get paid too. But when do they decide, that it's got to stop though? I'm sure if they don't see any anything happening or anything making people better, but it's a 50-50, right? So either it's going to work on some or maybe not work on others. Maybe it just depends on the person's body, how it takes it and uses it. I don't know. So I just don't get, if they come up with something that may work like that they just pull it. And why? So if anybody, any comments, looks that up or anything, um, maybe it's something to do more research on. You know, So anyway, parents win California gender case. It's illegal for school districts to keep parents in the dark. And I'm not bashing, but this is like this has become a really huge topic, and it is. And, a lot of us, and just have talked about it. And there's different sides, of course, but that's just what it is, right? And how you look at it. So, anyway, the California school district must provide notification and opt outs to parents and students when promoting gender ideology during a mentoring program. Federal judge ruled it. And Judge James Lorenz of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California issued a preliminary injunction that requires the Encinitas Union School District to provide notification to parents and to allow them to opt out their children when the schools promote LGBT gender ideology and buddy classes. Never heard of that. A mentoring program that pairs fifth grade students with kindergartners. First Liberty, a nonprofit legal group, represented two families in court after two fifth grade boys at La Costa Heights Elementary School were forced to affirm a book titled My Shadow is Pink, which teaches children to question their gender identity. First Liberty explains that the book tells a story of a boy who sees a shadow as pink instead of blue, depicted as your innermost you, and decides to wear a dress to school. The dad changes his beliefs, puts on a dress too, and tells his son, your shadow is you and pink it will be. So stand up with your shadow and yell, this is me. This is from the book. The fifth graders were exposed to this troubling message, which ran counter to their religious beliefs. They were also forced to indoctrinate a kindergarten buddy in this teaching as part of the school's mentoring program. The legal group further explained. The fifth graders told their parents they were uncomfortable with the book's message because it violated their personal beliefs, and they did not wish to affirm the book's message to their buddies, which you have every right. The schools have taken God out to begin with, which was wrong. I will say, wrong. Messed up there. All right. If you're a believer, you should be able to, just as much as the others, to represent that in a non in a non what a non-threatening way, or forcing it, or whatever. But you should have the right to represent, if you're a Christian, Catholic, Baptist, whatever, to represent that. Not bothering anybody, you know. If someone asks about it, fine, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. There you go. Anyway, so they did not wish to affirm the book's message to their buddies. The parents were shocked to hear about the buddy program's gender lesson. So weeks prior, the school notified parents and allowed students to opt out of Human Growth and Development Unit on gender identity. And the parents of the students requested notice and opt out for similar lessons in the future, but were denied. You shouldn't be forced, like anything. That's the only thing I think a lot of people, I watch documentaries, I watch on different things like that. And the one I watched on this is every one of them mentioned that you shouldn't be forced to identify someone that they're not. Okay. So they weren't saying that, they don't have the right to change their sex or whatever, their identity, okay, but it's forcing me to recognize that. And if a man wants to be a woman and I call them a sir, you shouldn't be upset. Why do you get upset? Okay, well, move on. You have friends and family, right? Coworkers. And if they want to identify to you as a woman, okay, but you can't force everybody to do that. That's like if I forced Christianity on everybody, on my beliefs. Well, you have to believe what I believe in. God gave us a free will, right? So God gave us a free will. Anyway, where was I? So in 2024, First Liberty Institute and the National Center for Law and Policy filed a complaint and motion for preliminary injunction claiming the school violated the students' First Amendment rights. All across America, religious parents and families are facing unprecedented attacks on their rights. Okay, I don't like the word religious. Um, that's another topic on the Bible that I do, on the Bible topic portion of the broadcast that I do. You're spiritual. I'm not a part of a religion. I don't I don't belong. I don't identify as a Catholic or a Baptist or whatever. I don't identify by with a religion. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, and God is my one and only heavenly Father. So I don't identify with a title to my faith. So anyway, so while stifling religious freedom, school districts seem to be comfortable with forcing radical ideology on students, often in violation of their religious beliefs. It's wrong and illegal for school districts to keep parents in the dark or to tell them that they can't opt their children out from controversial materials, which they should. Absolutely. If you got the trans storytellers to come into a school, you should have the option. If you're not comfortable with that, you're not forced to do it. You have the right to choose. I'd rather not. You have that right. You shouldn't be forced. It's not right. And also on the changing on children, it's shameful, and it's you know how horrible is that? To start identity changing on a child under 18, at least. They're still developing. They're not fully developed yet. Maybe it should be 21. Then you can start the process when you're 21. I don't know. I don't know. So they ruled in favor of the families, writing in his opinion, the judge, that compelling individuals to mouth support for views they find objectionable violates the First Amendment, highlighting the school's admission that the buddy program is a mandatory part of the curriculum. The court's order instructs the buddy program class activities and materials shall not cover gender identity topics covered in health instruction. So health class, it's not part of health class. So it's separate. So unless defendants provide parents with advance notice and an opportunity to opt out, which they should. Absolutely. So this is interesting. This is an interesting thing. Humans give off light that extinguishes at death. I, I'm not. I'm seriously. This was a this was a man. Yeah. What effect am I looking for this one? Give me a second, because I know I got one somewhere. I've got one. Ah, how's that? That's all I can find so far is going to heaven, right? So, and another thing that's interesting that I watch documentaries on, if also is when people die and their stories of going to heaven. I find it very interesting, and they all coincide the same in certain ways. Very interesting. So, being made in the image of God could include giving off a glow until death, till our body stops, right? So, a newly released study of ultra weak photon emission found not only the human beings gives off light, a glow so faint it's impossible to see with the naked eye. And I have to tell you, I have seen some pastors with you might call it an aura, or where it looks like they do have this little like light. It's not really just a outline of extra around them. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But I think that's their spirit, their godly spirit that people can see. I don't know. So anyway, the glow disappears upon death. And the fact humans glow was first discovered back in 2009. So the latest data compiled by scientists from the University of Calgary and published in the Journal of Physical Chemistry Letters analyzed the phenomenon, which comes via the emissions of biophotons in mice before and after death, concluding the light quickly fades when organisms die. The fact that ultra weak photon emission is a real thing is undeniable at this point. So the study's author, Dan Oblak, told New Scientist it really shows that this is not just an imperfection or caused by biological processes. It's really something that comes from all living things because God created all living things, right? So, and how it works, the powerhouse cell, the mitochondria releases microscopic amounts of reactive oxygen species, a byproduct while it is producing the energy needed to sustain life. Now, the ROS then react with other molecules in the body, like proteins, lipids, and fluorophones, which in turn emit biophotons that give off light. Jesus wasn't kidding. We are the light of the world. So we need to shine, let people see, you know, interesting. Yeah. So sustained exposure to high levels of this ROS, elevated production of the failure of antioxidant defenses is associated with pathophysiology and multiple diseases. And this was a 2024 study. So the failure to produce ROS effectively in response to stressors is also indicative of metabolic dysfunction. The intrinsic link between ROS production and biophoton release means that monitoring UPE in living organisms represent a real-time, non-invasive method of early state. Let me see. Oh, gosh darn it. What was I? sorry, of early state disease diagnosis. Very interesting. Interesting. So God had created us. Yes, so we have life. So I have seen, this outline type light, this glow around some different pastors a couple times. So, yeah, you know, we are spirit, um, but we're flesh, spirit and flesh, covered with flesh. Um, so anyway, yeah, very interesting. So this one, why I don't know why I looked this up, but because maybe this is stuff that's actually happening that we should be aware of, that you will not hear this on your local media, social news. And it should be. So, scientists want to grow human bodies without brains to harvest organs. I, I'm, yeah. Say, the recent debates over in vitro fertilization and surrogacy has taught us that most Christians aren't prepared with answers for what can happen. And that means we will be in even more trouble with crazier and more dystopian sounding technology, which is surely it's on its way. It's going apparently this it's going to happen. They're going to make chips, I think, which they are, and don't get a chip, okay? So anyway, if we do not embrace a robust theology of what it means to be human, that includes design and inherent goodness of the body, we'll have no idea whether to reject, redeem, or participate in these things. So an article in MIT Technology Review explored growing human bodies without brains or consciousness in order to harvest organs for transplant. So there are three researchers at Stanford, all right, that are creating like spare bodies for parts maybe closer than we know. So the public and lawmakers are starting to think about this, and recent advances in biotechnology that provide a pathway to producing living human bodies without the neuro components that allows us to think, be aware, feel pain, like a zombie, I guess. A zombie. Growing zombies for organs. You have no conscience, you have no feeling, you have no, but they still are able to create a human body. And it's if this is happening, this is, ooh, I don't know, you know. So bodyoids are possible due to recent medical innovations like pluripotent stem cells that mimic embryos, genetic techniques to inhibit brain development, and artificial uterus technology, which could be used to grow the bodies. Combined, these techniques could result in a potentially unlimited source of human bodies. The lack of sentience or the ability to feel pain. And they admit that the possibility is a little disturbing. You think? That's, this is pretty wild. I mean, think about it. They're cloning, but now they're actually working on growing human bodies without a conscious, a brain, or feeling, or like it said, the lack of sentience a brain. You don't feel. You're a zombie. So unfamiliar territory, definitely. And some things I don't think we should mess with. God did not intend us to mess with this stuff like this. And I did a topic on the Hadron Collider in Switzerland. We have no business trying to do these things, you know. Um, we just need to. I think it's we need to leave some stuff alone. It's not that is not for us to accomplish as human beings. That's not. It's there's and this is wild. You know, this is pretty wild. So the potential benefits they say outweigh the risk. So the bidioids could enable faster approval of new drugs, shorter wait times for organ replacement, and many lives saved. So once again, two sides here. What do you do? So even though it's a brainless, it's still, they claim, a human body. So they create and kill and murder whatever at the same time. If they claim it's still a human, it's a lot to, man, I have to call on this one too. Maybe there's somebody I can talk to more about this too that knows a little bit about this. I'll try to get that, and I'll try to get a officer to talk about the disabilities of the officer training. So anyway, it would be spare parts. And I know what they use, pig hearts or something like that. And it's been, but if they can do this, boy, and how many transplant into someone's body and why? What would be the reasons for these transplants? So not only you would have more than one transplant done at a time instead of waiting for, you know, each one. So the sake of that bodyoids reach the stage which they could replace much or even most of a person's body with better parts, possibly delaying or reversing aging. So that's something else we should probably not be messing with because God gave us a timeline. God gave us, you know, so many years to live. Yes, God gave us medicine. God gave us to keep us ourselves healthy, but as we age, we age. There's no way around it. We don't live, we're given a lifespan. So, so the question of immortality, you know, what's the line where this is crazy? We should not be doing this. You know, we should not be doing this. So, on a Christian standpoint, like evangelical Protestants lack the kind of ethical formation to even attempt answers to the question. But what you have to, if they're doing this like this cancer cure thing and not producing it, and now they're doing bodyoids for organs, for parts, for people. You cannot not talk about it, no matter what spiritual place you are, whatever, it it should be, what does the Bible say about it? Because it's the Bible's got everything. It doesn't matter. God had created us. God created us, male and female. So we are not God. We have no right. I don't think we have the right. Anyway, it's man, this could pop up anytime really, if they make it really public, if they haven't already. Because I don't watch the news. Like I said, I just looked this up on my own. So, surrogacy and the debate around so called fertility treatments or the aftermath of the birth control pill and how it taught modern couples to view sex and children. So, science fiction style technology is accelerating. So, as a Christian, we really need to we need to, Jesus said, pay attention what's going on also to be able to stay away from it and pray about it. There's going to be a lot of false prophets, which there are and always have been. So Jesus warned us, be careful. Don't fall for this stuff. It's Satan, which is the ruler of this world, but we know how it ends. Like I said, I've said it a lot. So we really should be looking into this stuff, especially Christian doctors. Um, you know, uh, biologists, you know. So what would we do if this does happen? If this really, really goes into an actual like production place where they manufacture, basically grow brainless humans without feeling just for to have organs. And how do those organs able to work without the brain? Without the whole, see, God made us whole. There's a reason why and how God made us each. We have a brain, a spinal cord. We're skeleton. We're all the same. So I'm still trying to figure out how they would actually be able to grow a human being. Brainless body. So that is destroying and exploiting and dehumanizes the image of God and what He's created. Created us with a spirit, with a free will, brain, and who we are. So we're taking that. We should never ever play God, if that's what you want to call it. Never, ever, never play God. We have no right to play God in these situations. I know abortion, another one. It's never going to be settled. That's all there is to it. So it's a decision that someone is going to make, regardless if you believe in abortion or not, which I don't. And I know most your heartbeat bills do include the exception of rape, incest, and the health of the baby or the mother, and a death, in a death situation. So, and I think I did a topic on that, and the states that are passing this heartbeat bill. Anyway, so now we want to grow bodies. Oh, man. Woo. There, like I said, we are diving into stuff that we have absolutely no right to do. God did not, we are not meant to do that. You know, we were created by God and put here. Wow. Yeah. So, anyway, so thank you so much. That's all the news I've got. Interesting. There's a couple really good ending stories in there. So I hope this helps and gets your mind off of the local news and all the death and destruction and division. And it's not the politics, folks. It's the politics that are dividing the country. Why? We can go on and on and on, but I'm not going to because this is not a political broadcast and never will be. So anyway, um, so let's pray for, make sure we keep these people in other states that's been hit by this weather in your thoughts and prayers. Like I said, there's still people in Florida still trying to get their homes back. They're so backed up, and it's a lot of work, and they're trying to get all these homes fixed, and it's not going to be overnight. It's going to take a while, and it's frustrating, yes. um but hang in there. I know it's easier said than done. I know, I know, but you know um help each other out, you know instead of you know sending billions and trillions of dollars across to other countries or something like that. Why don't you take it and put it in the Florida fund to rebuild and get these people back on their feet and their homes back and their lives back, and all over the country that's been hit by the weather here and these tornadoes, and I don't remember ever this bad. Or else maybe I just haven't paid attention because, like Missouri, we've never gotten tornadoes as far as I remember being growing up here, you know. So it's definitely a lot going on that we need to look at, and you know, we need to be ready at any time. And Jesus said, "Be ready, make that choice before it's too late. One or the other. Pick a side. It's got to be one or the other, right?" So I made my choice, you know. So hopefully you will make the same. If not, it's your free will, of course, and you have the right. So anyway, just keep praying. Plug yourselves into a church and a church group, because there's so many people that have gone through the same thing you have. Any kind of group. It could be a movie group, bowling, whatever. It doesn't have to be like a support group or a recovery group of some kind or something. But there are groups for restaurants that go out to eat and taste different foods, and you name it. There's a group at church to get together with like people and be around good Christian, God loving, God fearing people. Amen. So anyway, thanks for joining me, and I really appreciate it. I just needed a broadcast tonight. You know, I know it's the end of school, and if you're in education, the kids know it. That's the thing. The kids know it. They know. So it's pretty bonkers the last week or two of school. You know, so hang in there, and you know, that's all I can say. So anyway, I will be back soon, and I in the Bible portion. of the broadcast, I am still covering prophets in the Old Testament and learning a little bit about them, where they were from, what they prophesied about, where they lived, things like that. A little bit of background of who these prophets were. So we're going to continue with that. And then after that, I don't know. I haven't figured out the next discussion of the Bible to do. So praying on that. So if you have any comments, suggestions on topics, send them in. And yes, I will have the phone. I got to get this phone going again, which I plan to. So I need to make sure I can call somebody and talk to them if they're okay being on the broadcast. So I'm going to try to get something lined up and call, about the police and the people with disabilities and the humanoids, whatever their bodyoids. There's some kind of someone to reach to talk to about that and get, if anyone if there's to talk about it. Wow. Um, so anyway, and of course, news. And please, I'm doing the shirts, hats, making the vinyl, sublimation. I'm doing the tumblers, pillowcases, hoods, sweatshirts, hoodies, shirts, hats, plates, mouse pads, coasters, handbags, totes, aprons, all kinds of stuff, coffee mugs. And you can find that. Check it out, my website at msavio66.wix.com/life skills for life, and spell the whole thing out. I need to update that in a bad way because I've made so much new stuff. I need to take pictures of it and post it for ideas and different things like that. So I want to try to really, if you need something made, you need a tumbler made, or you want a shirt to say something, as long as it's clean. Sorry, no profanity, no drug affiliated stuff. Sorry, but sorry, but hey, you know, it's weird for me to do that. As funny as it is, I have to kind of keep it, you know, PG. My stuff, at least. So anyway, but God bless each and every one of you. And I will be back soon with another broadcast. Might be a week or so, because I know summer school starts, and boy, tired. So anyway, God bless. Thank you for joining me, and please subscribe. I'm not in it for, this is to help people and something different. Just, instead of the same old, I don't do reactions on the channel, or I actually listen to an album and break it down the best I can musically, being a drummer. I am, try to break it down and really talk about what's going on in the song, and different things like that. So I know I've been wanting to do that for a while now, and I've been wanting to, hopefully it won't be taken down, but I've been wanting to listen to the new Lenny Kravitz album, Light Blue Light something, or I can't remember or recall the actual name of the album, but and just give it a listen. Pieces of each song, basically, and then kind of talk about kind of bass lines and what's going on and vocals, and kind of hear different instruments, maybe piano or keyboard jumping in that you don't notice at first, and just different things like that. So I want to do more music topics too. Definitely. I really want to do more music topics and maybe break albums down like that. I think I did the Black Crowes Happiness Bastards on a broadcast, I broke that down and we kind of listened to a little bit of each song, a verse and a chorus, kind of get the structure of the song, different stuff like that, not just sit there and just make faces during a song. And, you know, sorry, more power to you if that's what you like doing. But I really want to try to break it down, and discuss it. So anyway, want to keep going. Love doing this. I'm blessed, and I hope that this helps and brings you closer to God and our Savior Jesus Christ. So have a good night. Have a good weekend. Be careful. A lot of rain. It's been a lot of this weather. Man, it's been crazy. I don't remember uh, uh, May being so crazy, unless I just don't pay attention. But wow, I heard rain all weekend. But have a safe Memorial Day. Enjoy. Be safe. What you do, if you travel, whatever you're doing. So be safe. So anyway, God bless. Thank you very much. Subscribe and comment whatever, and we'll just keep on going. I'll be back, like I said, doing a Bible discussion with prophets of the Old Testament, and maybe I'll wrap that up because I think there's only a few prophets left to do, and I'll wrap that up. So, and then, do another topic, talk about something else. Okay. Once again, thank you so much. Subscribe, and I appreciate it. And God bless, and have a good night, and see everyone soon. Take care.